Have you ever died in a fight in Escape from Tarkov while you were trying to point fire someone, and as soon as you died, you knew that you should have ADS'd? Or the reverse of that, where you're flailing all over the place trying to find your target because you're ADS'd and you knew you should have point fired? It can be incredibly complicated to figure out when to do each of those actions, and in this Lessons from Beyond the Grave, we are going to try to break down how to learn which situation calls for which thing. I'm JesseKazam. Welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov video. I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. And if you like this video, think about dropping a like or commenting down below. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in. So when we talk about when to ADS and when to point fire in Escape from Tarkov, there is no magical formula that always, ends up with you having the right answer. It's experiences. It's a lot of deaths and a lot of learning that inform you being able to make those those really split-second decisions in the middle of a firefight. There is no magical formula. It's really just doing this and learning from your mistakes. So this isn't this is when you should always do it and this is when you shouldn't. But we're going to watch a few clips where I died, a few clips where I really struggled and should have done the other thing. And we can kind of pick apart why that situation was good for the other thing, why I should have ADS'd when I point fired or vice versa. So as always with our Beyond the Graves, we'll take a look at a few clips, watch them in their entirety, and then kind of go back and break them down from there. So we're here, interchange. I'm playing with a duo. We just kind of ran right up into, the Thunderdome here where there's tons of people coming for PvP and going for Killa. And this happens. So let's take a look. There was definitely that running above us.
Dead body in the main hall. Yep, that made it worse. Inside.
Yep. They're gamers. I'm gonna die! I'm dead, bro. So this one was so brutal because I felt me throwing it. They were thick boys. We were having a good night. We were really enjoying the PvP, and I felt myself just throwing this fight. And I was so frustrated at myself. It was complete GG's to the other guy. I was so frustrated at myself on this one. Now, this is an interesting one to kind of start off with. So we identify right off the bat, my friend gets shot at, and we are both like, oh, that's a Vector boy. We know he's inside here. That shot didn't come from any other direction. I'm assuming that he only knows there's one, or if he's heard my footsteps, he doesn't know exactly where I am. And I quickly go for a play to peek through this little hole. Now, this is a heartbreaking screenshot right here because this informs a lot. So at this close distance, a lot of times it can actually be better to point fire because it can be really hard to acquire targets if they're AD strafing, at around this distance or any closer. And a lot of my previous experience where I died trying to ADS is what informed me to try to point fire here. You hit a few good point fire shots early in the night. You think you're a point fire god, and then you do this and you just miss. So I thought he was close enough. Fights at this distance, I've often tried to get better at point firing. And so we went for that here. And as you can see, I'm shooting maybe even through his backpack, but right over his head and hitting. You can see the sparks right here. I'm just off to the left. Now, the reason why this would have been a perfect time to ADS is because he doesn't know where I am. When you kind of take the flow chart of what you would normally do on, is this too close to be ADSing? Okay, point fire. You add another kind of variable in there, and it's, does this guy know I'm here? Is he even aiming in my direction? Because he was so unaware of where I was, and because he wasn't full sprinting, he was walking, he's ADS'd, he's trying to see if my buddy's going to re-peek and drop my duo. This would have been such a perfect and easy time to quickly ADS, slow down, go for the headshot, and eliminate this guy in a really efficient way, saving ammo because I'm not having to mag dump because I know I can get headshots, taking out one of these guys. We didn't know if it was a duo or a trio, and then making sure that my buddy stays alive. So this would have been such a perfect time to ADS on this guy and eliminate him really quickly. And then what happens a lot with me is I make one bad decision and then everything starts to fall apart. I think that my shots are going to push him out here. He's going to go for a swing on me because now he knows where I am. I don't know if it was a bait or what he was thinking, but he runs over here. I think he's going to swing on me. He doesn't, so I think he's actually going to go further back into brutal. So I go to try and toss a nade deep because that's where I think he's going to be, but he ends up pushing me and I'm stuck in a grenade animation and I'm just dead. So I don't know if that was bait on his part. I don't know if that was a strategy or maybe he ran back, heard my guy, and then came back. Either way, big GG's to him. This was not a great place to try and throw a nade. Of course, it would have been cool to thread the needle straight through, lob a nade in the back and maybe kill the guy, but I gave him a window of opportunity to push me. But at the end of the day, this is where I feel like the struggle happened, and it was my inability to really, really quickly address the fact that because he doesn't know where I am, this is the perfect time to ADS on him. So let's take a look at another clip where maybe the opposite happens.
You're in the kitchen?
I'm trying to bounce an aid.
Okay.
I'm going to try and go flank on him.
I'm just going to try keep shots on.
Bro. So we kind of see the exact opposite thing happen there. So we'll break the clip back in its entirety. So another interchange clip with the same duo. We hear these guys. I'm trying to in the beginning here kind of like use maybe some element of surprise. My teammate is engaging with these guys. I'm hoping if this guy goes for a quick push while my teammate has to go for a reload or something, he's going to push into me. They don't really, it feels like they're going to hold their position. So I go for a flank and we see my teammates like, hey, okay, if you're going for a flank, let me keep up the aggro. There's great movement, great positioning, great idea. This is exactly what you should be doing as a duo, flanking, splitting up, using really good communications. But it all broke down here. I hear this guy on wood. I hear him pushing me. And this is what we were talking about, where like sometimes it can feel when they're super close because of the whole AD strafe meta, maybe, I don't know, in Tarkov, it can be really hard to track targets, especially if you don't have like godlike aim and sensitivity training on your mouse. And I just snap back, forth as you try to adjust for their movement. And sometimes that ends up biting you in the butt because he comes swinging out left to right. So I swing my mouse left to right and I overshoot it because he really quickly changes directions. Now I'm shooting at the wall. I try to correct for his right to left movement. He changes directions again and I've overcompensated. Now I'm shooting this wall. So now I'm trying to recompensate back towards him and he gets the shot on me. Whether it was luck, whether it was skill, aim, either way, he ends up getting the shot on me. So this would have been a situation where potentially if I had a laser and I was able to point fire, I could have acquired the target a little bit easier without trying to put this tiny little reticle on him and swing back and forth. I could have potentially had this, or at least got shots on him and maybe aim punched him and pushed him back or something like that. This is just a perfect example of, maybe point firing isn't the best thing to do in every solution, and maybe I would have died here either way, but this really is a great example of how when you're ADS'd really close to somebody, minor movements that they do cause giant swings with your mouse, and it's really hard to stay on target and track. And this is just a perfect example of that. I think another note I would make for myself here is I'm holding D and I keep moving from left to right here. And I just continue to swing around my cover instead of using this cover. As soon as this guy peaked and I started putting shots, I should have been moving back to the left, back into cover. And that's a huge thing that I've learned more while playing the game, is that standing still or moving out of cover and shooting somebody and hoping you get them is never the option. A lot of times the best players will As soon as they start opening fire on somebody, they're moving back into cover. They're either going to kill them and then they're in cover, or they're not going to kill that person, but at least they're in cover. And just kind of swinging into cover always as your movement, if you're going to be moving, is a better play. So, not ADSing here definitely could have helped me, especially if I had a laser or a flashlight on. Like you can see, I have a flashlight on my gun. I didn't have it on. That would have helped. And then also moving back into cover as opposed to away from cover, that would have helped as well. So we've got one more quick clip to check out. Another similar situation happens. There's no way he was that metal though. Was he? Oh, I guess he was. I guess he just came straight up. I'm dead, bro. So this was a super brutal experience. I'm playing Shoreline. My duo died really, really early on. And I killed somebody earlier in the raid around this left corner. So this is where the guy ends up being when he kills me. Around this corner, there's a room, 301 in the west wing of Resort. I killed a really thick boy in that room. I wasn't sure if he had a duo or anything. And somebody pushes me from downstairs. I hear him come from the roof down the metal stairs outside. He pushes straight up. And I have a little potato battle with this guy. And I end up killing this guy and trying to basically keep myself in cover and trying to basically get to a place where I can figure out, do I need to heal? Do I need to repack? I want to loot the farther away guy and then loot this guy on my way out. I swing on this left corner, and of course, there happens to be another person there. Now, this is a really rough place to be, and I would definitely say, apart from the point fire versus ADS conversation, it's just as simple as always check your corners. Even though what's hard about this is that I did check this corner multiple other times. Like as you can see here in the beginning of this clip, I'm checking this corner early to make sure nobody's there. I haven't really heard anything. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But, checking it again is probably would have been the best option, because you just never know when there's another person. I've made videos about that. Everybody knows when there's 1, there's 2, when there's 3, there's 5. It's just how Tarkov is. So checking this corner again, especially since he's just chilling here, you know what I mean, would have given me the opportunity to either bait some shots out of him or, see him and kill him. But interestingly enough, I have enough time to get some shots on. You see that I am sprinting, I get shot at, and then I have enough time to stop, pull up my gun, and actually get some shots on this guy. Now, once again, like we've said in the beginning of the video, there's no perfect formula for when to ADS and when to point fire. Going back to that first clip, though, where the guy didn't know where I was, and so that might have been a good time to ADS. This could have potentially been a good time for that as well, because he wasn't moving. He was holding a corner and standing still, which would have kind of given me a little bit of advantage there, especially with how many shots he missed, to, of course, hold left click as soon as I can. But while I'm point firing, maybe right click and ADS or even crouch, try to tighten up my spray. And because he's so stationary, he would have been an easier target to acquire, and I could have potentially eliminated him. He definitely gave me enough time to land some shots on him, for sure. I went for a point fire. My point fire accuracy really isn't that great. It's something I could work on, and I missed the shots, and he was able to take me down. So this is, like we said, isn't necessarily I did it wrong by point firing here, but watching it back in this conversation of when to point fire and when to ADS, learning the subtleties like that, where maybe because he was just standing still holding a corner, and because I was probably pretty close with where my shots were landing, it could have been beneficial for me to ADS and just try to eliminate him really quickly. Of course, if I had gotten really lucky with the point fire, that would have been great too, but you just never know. So that's kind of it. I hope that this video helped. I hope that this just gave you some examples of how sometimes when you think that you should do one, there's 1 or 2 subtle differences in this specific firefight that could have maybe made the other one more viable. There's kind of general broad rules of thumb, like if they're really, really close, just point fire, because trying to acquire that target can be rough. But I wanted this video to kind of just show some of the subtleties, show that there are no hard and fast rules, and that if you do this, what I'm doing, and record your gameplay or watch back fights and just kind of think critically about your deaths, I promise that it's one of the best ways to get better in the game. So I hope this helped. I hope that this maybe brought some new information to light, and I hope that you start experimenting more with when to ADS and when to point fire in Escape from Tarkov. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to check out this video. I really hope that these videos help. Like we said before, I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. And if you like this video, think about dropping a like, commenting down below, or subscribing to the channel for more content like this. If you're looking for people to play Tarkov with, our Discord community is an awesome place to be with several thousand members. That link is down below as well. Thank you again for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.